Welcome team, it is time. It's that time of the week when we have the live Q&A, and as per usual, we have questions here. If you're joining me for the first time, then we have questions from our Premier Property community, which I'm going to be answering right now. And right now, it's a time when we are now in the second lockdown, of course. It has just started, very unfortunate for the economy. However, when it comes to property investing, it is such an opportunity to, really use it to your advantage. And I hope these answers to these questions are going to really help you. Now, I've got several questions there, questions about yields. We're going to be discussing these types of questions, questions about neighbors and disputes as well. We've got questions here about builders and plumbers as well. We're going to be discussing this as well, about stamp duty, and also questions about, in terms of estate agents, what you can do and what you can't do within lockdown. So a lot to cover. And if you are watching this on YouTube, our channel here, you can subscribe to it. I'm doing this every week at the moment, so feel free to join us. You can subscribe here, and also you can click on the bell icon and make sure that you get the most latest notifications, which means that you'll get the videos to you fastest. And I'm doing a lot of videos, and I thank you very much for your feedback in terms of those of you who've been commenting on how much you're enjoying this. So let's get into these questions here. So like I say, these questions are from our Premier Property community. And by the way, if you're joining me, like I say, for the first time, my name's Kam. I'm the founder of Premier Property, Kam Dovedi, and just an investor developer over the last 29 years. And my aim is to assist you in your property journey to actually move forward. And we have a number of mavericks that are here right now. Pav's just joined us. And if you're here live watching this, feel free to send us a like or a comment or just join in. I'd love to hear your comments as well. Feel free to enter your comments. The first question is by Jason Joyce. Jason, part of the Premier Property Inner Circle, part of the Premier Property community, is asking a question about yields. And I love the way Jason does this because he puts so much detail and effort into his questions. Look at that, proper effort, right? That's one question. So thank you. I really appreciate you putting that in there, Jason. And I've read through it, and you're asking about yields. So Jason is asking about yields, and he's trying to find 7% yields. And he's saying, where can I find them? What should I be doing? So here's what we do at Premier Property. So in areas which are large areas, large towns, large cities, the Londons, the Cambridges, the Bristols of the country, large towns, where how you can assess this is purchase prices over £160,000. So if you've got a lot of stock available over £160,000, you go onto Rightmove, you can assess that, then you know that you are in a large city. And if you can't find anything less than £160,000, then you also know that is a large city. So a quick way of actually measuring a large city in terms of property investing like we're doing here right now. So Jason, for the areas where you have property purchases in satellite towns, which are outside of these large cities, we have a certain percentage of a yield. And within large cities, we use another percentage of a yield to actually really calibrate and create a criteria for you to find the right type of property for rental. So if you are in a large city, as I'm explaining, over £160,000, and you are finding yields, then at Premier, what we look for is 5.5% yield plus. These are the benchmark numbers. Now, these aren't written anywhere. You're not going to find them on Google. These are our own numbers at Premier Property, which we use to make sure we invest in property safely, securely, and get things done fast. This is what it's about, right? So in large cities, 5.5% yield at Premier Property is acceptable. And to be fair, that's very professionalized. When you look at what the Knight Franks and the Savills of the world are saying, they're anywhere between 2.8% to 4.2%. And what we're saying is, at Premier, the large cities are a starting point at 5.5%. So you already know these quick numbers are really going to help you. So you already know that you're in a good area and it's working for you. So Jason and anybody else who's interested in yields, feel free to have a think about that. Come up with your yields. We use 5.5%. Now, in satellite towns, for areas where they are not large cities, smaller towns, where the property values are less than 160,000, we use the yield calculation. Large cities, to summarize, 5.5% yield plus, because you've got the capital growth on that side of things as well. In satellite towns, what we do at Premier is we'll assess at 7% yield for buy and holds. So that works really well. And both those numbers are very professionalized numbers, well above and beyond what many professional property investors expect. So you're in a good realm when you're looking at these types of numbers. Hope that makes sense. So the right yield for the right area. Great question. Moving forward together, we've got another question here from Anna. So Anna is asking about neighbors. So she is saying, is there a way to make neighbors fix a falling fence? Is there a way of getting the neighbors to fix a falling fence? Who's responsible for it? What can you do? That kind of thing. So here's my experience on this, Anna. So wherever we get situations where fences need fixing, or you might even have a wall that needs to be repaired or renewed. Sometimes there's health and safety issues because the wall might be falling down and falling apart in the garden areas and the yard areas. So my experience on this is this, that firstly what we do is we touch base with the neighbours. Now, if you're in an investment area, what you'll probably find is that in that investment area the properties are actually rented, so you end up speaking to a tenant. The tenant, usually wants that fence or that wall fixed as well. So it's then getting the details from the landlord from that tenant to communicate with the landlord to actually get the fence fixed. Now, the way that we do this is we aim to be amicable, because what we're looking for is the longer vision result. You want the result. And what we do is we put ego at bay. So I tend to offer get a quote for them. So you're the person that's being proactive. And the number of times this has happened is we normally say to them, look, here is your fence. It's your fence. You can assess this by looking at land registry, finding out which fence are you the person responsible for. Is it the left? Is it the right? And then you're contacting the as I say, the owner of the property, and you let them know that this is if it's their fence, it's their fence, and we normally go 50-50 with them just to be amicable to get a result. Now, chances of success with that, typically 80% no, and I'm just sharing with you what happens in the real world, and a 20% yes. That's typically what we end up with. Now, in the instance where we get a yes, great result, you get your fence, you get your wall sorted, job done, you've added value to your property, your tenants are happy, you move forward and you're creating your property business. Where they say no, what we do is we take that with a bit of a pinch of salt. This is what we do. And then, what we'll do is we'll just do it anyway. Because think about your return on your investment. If that fence means that you can bring in a better tenant, if fixing that fence means that you can resolve the situation of someone not renting a property or renting a property, or if it's a safety hazard where kids might get hurt or those types of scenarios, then what we do is we'll just take it upon ourselves. We'll put it down to cost of doing business, and we'll just do that. So that's the way that we do this. Hope that helps, Anna. Might not be the answer that you want to hear, or maybe it is the answer that you want to hear, because this answer will get you results and it will allow you to actually move forward. So that's how we deal with those types of minor disputes, because otherwise they can get ugly for no reason, and we just want to get a result and move forward. Peace of mind, easy life, and money making scenarios. Hope that helps with that one, Anna. Loving these questions, very detailed today. Next up, we got Melody. So Melody, again, is one part of our Premier Property Inner Circle, and Melody's asking, what's the best arrangement for paying builders or plumbers if it's a one-off job, like replacing a boiler or installing a new bathroom, rather than a full refurbishment? Should you pay them fully up front, or half up front, or half on completion? What should you do? Is asking Melody. So Melody, here is my experience with dealing with builders. So yes, small job or large job, to be fair, it doesn't really matter. What we always edge for is a payment plan. Now, you've got to be fair with the contractor as well. So if they are having to buy materials up front, for example, if they are having to buy materials up front, then what we'll do is they'll get some money for the materials, or even better, if you haven't got that relationship, you might buy the materials for them. You might buy the materials for them to get the job started. But what you're aiming to do is to minimize your initial capital that you're putting forward to the builders. If you have a relationship, that's great. Still aim to get over to them the minimum capital that you possibly can to start that job. Because trust me, builders and contractors, over a period of the job, situations can change. There's a number of stories I could get into, which I'm not going to get into. I'll give you one quick one. I'm not going to mention his name. Really good contractor, doing everything on time, really cost effective. Minor job left at the end. So literally a piece of guttering that was left on a residential property, which needed fixing. 150 quid, 150 pounds was the job. The final part of snagging. And the rule is we always leave it till the end. We never pay them the whole amount until the job is completed. So you're piecemealing it. You're giving them a little bit at the front if you have to. Try to avoid it the best you can. But if you have to, you do. And then what you do is you create a payment plan and aim to pay that in tranches. So for your job, even then, you can pay that over a week, over a couple of weeks. Think of the job and make those payment plans. But coming back to my story about this contractor, he got me, didn't he? You know me, I'm always wearing my heart on my sleeve. And it was a summer's day and the bank holiday was coming up. And he said, Cam, I need that £150 because I want to buy my son one of those lovely sort of pools in the back garden. The sun's really nice, the weather's really nice. And I really want to buy it. I need that £150. And me being me, I went, okay, here's £150, fix the guttering. When do you reckon you can do it? He said, I'll do it next week. I never saw him again. I met him at a viewing. He even took the keys with him. Shocking. All for £150. Now, we're refurbishing, he'd be refurbishing typically, he'd be fully packed with jobs from us. Typically 3 to 4 refurbs for him on an ongoing basis, on a yearly basis. He'd have that. But he basically ruined that relationship just by disappearing for £150. I mean, that sounds so odd, doesn't it? And here's the thing, you got to keep to your rules. So it's a bit of a reminder, for myself as well, to make sure that you keep to the rules, right? And the rules are, you never pay them all the money until the full job is completed. That's just one of a number of stories, although we have very good contractors who we trust and we've been working for a long time as well. But these things do happen. So cut a long story short, Melody, is please create a payment plan, as I've mentioned, over that period of time. Now, if you're watching this, you're thinking, oh, that's interesting, and you're liking this video, then you can subscribe here. There should be some icons coming up. Just click on that subscribe button and we'll make sure that you get these videos. That bell icon's there as well. Just smash that bell icon to get the next videos so you got them first. Melody, fabulous question. Save a lot of money. And thank you for that little reminiscence that you just took me to. Brilliant. Moving forward, we have Brian. Brian Brewery. Brian is asking, hi Cam, can you confirm how land with planning is classified for stamp duty, land tax? Does it count as an additional item like a second property would? What's the kind of rates for purchase of these kind of scenarios with stamp duty? Well, Brian, here's the thing. If you're buying the piece of land and it's a piece of land and it's just a piece of land, it's a parcel there, then you are on with commercial stamp duty. If it's below £150,000, there is zero stamp duty right now when it comes to commercial. That's one of the things I love about commercial. The stamp duty levels are so much lower now, so that can really work for you. If the piece of land is on a residential property and just seems to be, a piece of land as part of the residential property, well, in this case, you are buying a residential property. And right now, Rishi Sunak has done this up to the end of March. Will he extend? Will he not extend? We shall find out. I'm doing a number of webinars on this, right? So what will happen? We shall see after March, 31st of March, 2021. But until 31st of March, 2021, stamp duty is reduced. And up to £500,000, we've assessed that you can save a massive £12,500 up to the level of 500,000. If your purchase is 500,000, then you can save that figure. So if you are an owner of a property already and it's your second property, then you're going to have to pay that 3% surcharge. But have a look at these stamp duty calculations, stamp duty levels. You can very easily find these on Google. The stamp duty levels there, 125 to 250,000 for residential, the minimum 150,000 level for, as I say, for commercial. These are available, and you can really work this out very quickly. But right now, stamp duty is a big win for us as property investors, and you can do this, Brian. So I hope that answers your question. Piece of land commercial, if it's attached to residential, then it's a resi. Yeah, so you can work that one out. Brilliant. Moving forward, we're going to take a question from, so Phil Donovan is asking questions about lifts. So Phil, I haven't put any lifts into a property as yet, so I will get my good friend Kingsley Hughes, one of our senior architects, to answer that question for you. So I'm not going to pretend to know all the answers, but what I'm going to answer is everything that I do know, which is usually most of your questions. And if there's anything that we don't know, then we have a team who knows that question and knows the answer to that question. So I will get Kingsley to answer the question about a lift on a 5-story building. We'll tag him in. Okay, next up we have a question here all about, so this is from Ads. So Ads is asking a very relevant question. And his question is all about, can you still view properties and visit estate agents during the lockdown? If not, how can you maneuver around it? Eds, I like the way you're thinking. So here's the thing. Now, of course, lockdown is not great for the world. Of course it's not, right? So all the health scenarios going on and all of that. But what we're talking and discussing here right now is specifically property, isn't it? So in terms of property, this is the golden opportunity. This is a time when people wait for a decade to find this gold rush of opportunity when it comes to property, and you've got it happening right now. Now, you might have watched some of my videos from before. If you haven't about this, then feel free to look back and re-engage with these videos. Have a look. We talked about stamp duty. I've even done a video on stamp duty as well, with how it can benefit you. I've gone into much length on that. The previous question I was asked. And you can really make this work in this golden opportunity. So what does this mean? Now, Ads, we've learned this from the first lockdown. There are 3 camps that the estate agents are in. One of them is the camp where they've just literally given up. They've closed up shop and they're in lockdown and nothing's going to happen there. That's one of the camps. The second camp that you've got is a camp where the agents are keeping on. They're managing their businesses. This typically works with regional and large corporate types of estate agents. They're having to keep their offices open. Many people are furloughed, but you can still buy properties. You can still engage with the estate agents. And what you'll find is that you will have to conform to PPE. There are various viewing rules, such as they'll only have one viewing. So see, some of the ones that we've recognized over the last lockdown. So sometimes what they'll do is they'll only have one viewing per property per day. So if you viewed that property today, nobody else is going to view it until the next day. So what this means for you, there's rules like these, having PPE as well. Making sure you got the gloves, making sure the masks and all of that. If you're visiting the agents, you might find that the offices are closed, but you can phone them. Or you find that, if you do go up to the office, that, you can only go up to a certain entry level and all of that kind of thing. So that is happening. But the point is that business is still being conducted with this type of camp of agent. And then you've got the one that we love at Premier Property, people like you and I, where we just keep going the best that we possibly can. And what we do, what you find is these agents are being very proactive. They tend to be owner-occupiers. They love what they do. They love being around the people that they're working with. They love their business. And to be fair, it's like because they love what they do, they're proactive. And the truth is, you will get viewings. You will get viewings with these, whether they are virtual or whether you actually can go into those properties and actually do the viewing. They'll make sure that they adhere to the rules and regulations. So let me give you an example. Even with an occupied property, what they do is they'll ask the seller to while you're doing the viewing, to be in the back garden or just vacate the property for a little while you tour around, keeping a safe distance with the PPE and so on, so viewings can actually happen. And also there are virtual viewings. Now the great thing is for people, for you, I mean, you're watching this, you clearly, that shows me that you're proactive. But there are people, unfortunately, that are really going to miss out and lose out on such great opportunities and deals that are right in front of them right now, because their competition is reduced right now. People out there, unfortunately, are scared and worried, and quite rightly, around COVID-19. They don't have communities like this, where they're invigorated, they're engaged, they're proactive, and they're practically proactive, and getting results. So these are the moments, the golden opportunities that you look for, in a decade, sometimes in a lifetime, where you get these moments where you can be that person who keeps on going, where others, unfortunately, are thinking in different ways. So, you find these agents, and these agents are the ones that are going to get you these bottom drawer deals, because you are here and you're here to stay. And that shows the agent your proactivity, your competence is diminished, as I mentioned. Secondly, on top of that, you'll find that the offers that you're making more likely to be accepted, because there's not that many offers coming in. And thirdly, you'll find that the properties that are coming to market, that you can be the first person to view those properties, which means that you can make the first offer, right? You get the first cherry pick at the right property. So you can be the person that is working with these agents. So beautiful time to do this. We had to adapt in the last lockdown. We're adapting again, and it's continuous adaptation. So I hope you're enjoying these videos, and I'll carry on sharing with you. I'm going to be sharing even more. So some great questions. I'll be here this time next week, and if you're liking this, then feel free to subscribe. Feel free to engage. Feel free to comment. I love to hear your comments. And if there's anything I can help you with, just let me know. My name's Kam Dovedi. I'm the founder of Premier Property, helping you to take your property investing to the next level. And I will see you, team, at the next video. Same time, same place next week. See you later.